In sports, few things are as exhilarating as watching a team build a big lead. There's that rush of confidence, the thrill of dominance, and the belief that victory is inevitable. But sometimes that confidence turns to shock and disbelief when the unthinkable happens, a complete and total collapse. In basketball, these moments are rare but unforgettable, leaving fans and players alike stunned as they watch what seemed like a sure win slip away. In this video, we're diving into the worst collapses in NBA history. These are the games where teams went from being unbeatable to unraveling, from soaring high to crashing down. To make this list, these collapses had to be more than just bad games. They had to be monumental moments that left a mark on the league. We're talking about major blown leads, high-stakes playoff games, and collapses that still have fans asking, did that really just happen? Let's get started. Number 10, Los Angeles Lakers between Boston Celtics. The rivalry between the Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics is legendary, but Game 4 of the 2008 NBA Finals brought one of the most shocking moments in its history. The Lakers, trailing 2-1 in the series, came out strong, building a commanding 24-point lead on their home court. With Kobe Bryant leading the offense, it seemed inevitable that the Lakers would tie the series. However, the Celtics had other plans. Led by their iconic big three of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, Boston began to chip away at the lead. Defensive stops turned into fast break points, and timely shots fell one after another. The Lakers' once confident swagger started to fade as the Celtics closed in, transforming Staples Center's cheers into anxious silence. By the fourth quarter, Boston had completely erased the deficit, and with just minutes left, they took the lead. The Lakers, rattled and out of sync, couldn't recover. The Celtics completed their comeback, winning 9-7, 9-1, and taking a 3-1 series lead. Instead of heading into Game 5 tied, the Lakers found themselves facing elimination. Number 9, Golden State Warriors between Cleveland Cavaliers. In 2016, the NBA Finals showdown between the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers turned into one of the most dramatic series in history. The Warriors had set an NBA record with a 73-win regular season and came into the finals as heavy favorites. After taking a 3-1 series lead, it seemed certain that they would claim their second consecutive championship. But what followed was a stunning reversal that still haunts Warriors fans. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving led the Cavaliers' comeback, each delivering legendary performances. In Game 5, both scored 41 points, forcing a Game 6 back in Cleveland, where the Cavs tied the series. By Game 7, the pressure on the Warriors was palpable. Despite a hard-fought battle, key moments swung in Cleveland's favor. LeBron's iconic chase-down block on Andre Iguodala and Kyrie's clutch three-pointer over Stephen Curry became defining moments. The Warriors ultimately lost Game 7, 9-3, 8-9, squandering their 3-1 lead and allowing the Cavaliers to secure their first NBA championship. This collapse didn't just cost the Warriors a title, it shattered their historic season and handed LeBron James one of the greatest achievements of his career. The 2016 Finals remain a painful memory for Golden State, a reminder that even the best teams aren't immune to the pressure and unpredictability of the playoffs. Number 8, Sacramento Kings between Los Angeles Lakers. During the 2002 Western Conference Finals, the Sacramento Kings found themselves in a battle with the Los Angeles Lakers that would go down in history. The Kings, led by stars Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, and Peja Stojakovic, were a powerhouse that season and seemed poised to dethrone the reigning champion Lakers. By Game 6, they held a 3-2 series lead, just one win away from their first ever NBA Finals appearance. Game 6, however, turned into a nightmare for Sacramento. Despite holding the lead for much of the game, the Kings found themselves at the mercy of questionable officiating calls that heavily favored the Lakers, sending them to the free throw line repeatedly in the fourth quarter. The Kings struggled to keep their composure as the momentum shifted, and despite a valiant effort, they lost Game 6 by 4 points, 106-102. The collapse was sealed in Game 7, where the Kings had home court advantage but failed to capitalize, losing in overtime as the Lakers advanced to the finals. This collapse was devastating for Sacramento fans, who felt robbed of a historic achievement. The 2002 Western Conference Finals remained a painful chapter for the Kings, a reminder of how close they came to greatness only to have it slip away amid controversy and missed opportunities. Number 7, Dallas Mavericks between Miami Heat. When the Dallas Mavericks took on the Miami Heat in the 2006 NBA Finals, few could have predicted the outcome. Led by Dirk Nowitzki, the Mavericks took a commanding 2-0 lead in the series, dominating the first 2 games and seemingly on the verge of their first NBA championship. With a strong roster and Dirk playing at an elite level, Dallas fans were optimistic that the title was within reach. However, things took a drastic turn in Game 3. The Mavericks held a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter, but the Heat, led by a young Dwyane Wade, mounted an incredible comeback. Wade scored 12 of his 42 points in the final minutes, turning the game around and snatching a 9-8-9-6 victory for Miami. This marked a momentum shift that Dallas could not recover from. Miami went on to win the next 3 games, completing a stunning 4-2 series comeback to claim their first NBA championship. Wade's heroic performances, combined with Dallas's inability to close out games, left the Mavericks stunned and empty-handed. This collapse remains one of the most painful moments in Mavericks history, as they went from near-certain champions to watching the Heat celebrate on their home court. The 2006 Finals loss would haunt Dallas until their eventual redemption 5 years later. Number 6, New York Knicks between Indiana Pacers. In a notorious 1995 Eastern Conference, this collapse set the tone for the series as the Knicks struggled to regain their confidence. Miller's heroics and the Knicks' inability to close out Game 1 gave the Pacers the momentum they needed, and they eventually went on to win the series in 7 games. This heartbreaking loss is still remembered by Knicks fans as one of the darkest moments in franchise history. A game where victory was snatched away in a matter of seconds, leaving the team and its supporters stunned. Sequences in NBA playoff history: Miller scored 8 points in just 9 seconds. He drained a 3-pointer, stole the inbounds pass, hit another 3, and then sank 2 free throws after a foul. The Knicks, rattled and unable to respond, watched their lead disappear in mere moments, ultimately losing the game 107-105. This collapse set the tone for the series as the Knicks struggled to regain their confidence. Miller's heroics and the Knicks' inability to close out Game 1 gave the Pacers the momentum they needed, and they eventually went on to win the series in 7 games. This heartbreaking loss is still remembered by Knicks fans as one of the darkest moments in franchise history. A game where victory was snatched away in a matter of seconds, leaving the team and its supporters stunned. Number 5, Phoenix Suns between Houston Rockets. The 1994 Western Conference semifinals featured a matchup between the Phoenix Suns and the Houston Rockets, a series that would see one of the most painful collapses in Suns history. Phoenix, led by Charles Barkley, took a 2-0 series lead after winning both games on the road in Houston. With the next 2 games at home, it seemed inevitable that the Suns would advance to the conference finals. However, the Rockets, led by Hakeem Olajuwon, were far from finished. Houston came back to win both games in Phoenix, evening the series at 2-2. Despite this setback, the Suns regained control by winning Game 5 in Houston, putting them just 1 victory away from closing out the series on their home floor in Game 6. But in Game 6, the Suns faltered. Despite holding a lead in the 4th quarter, they couldn't withstand a late Rockets surge and ultimately lost the game, forcing a decisive Game 7 back in Houston. In Game 7, Phoenix couldn't keep up with Olajuwon and the Rockets, who seized the win in the series, completing their comeback from a 2-0 deficit. The collapse haunted the Suns and their fans as they watched a promising series slip through their fingers. The Rockets went on to win the NBA championship that year, while the Suns were left wondering what might have been had they not let their early advantage slip away. Number 4, Portland Trail Blazers between Los Angeles Lakers. The 2000 Western Conference Finals between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Los Angeles Lakers delivered one of the most dramatic collapses in NBA playoff history. The Blazers, a talented and deep team led by Rasheed Wallace, Scottie Pippen, and Steve Smith, had pushed the Lakers to a decisive Game 7. In the 3rd quarter, the Blazers built a 15-point lead, putting them on the verge of a monumental upset and a trip to the NBA Finals. But then, everything unraveled. The Lakers, led by Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, started chipping away at the lead. The Blazers went cold, missing 13 consecutive shots, while the Lakers capitalized on every opportunity. The momentum shifted with iconic plays, including a crucial Kobe to Shaq alley-oop that sent the crowd into a frenzy and symbolized the Lakers' resurgence. By the end of the 4th quarter, the Lakers had turned the 15-point deficit into an 8-9-8-4 victory, ending the Blazers' season and sending Los Angeles to the finals. This collapse was devastating for Portland, who had come so close to defeating the heavily favored Lakers. The loss not only ended their championship hopes that year, but also marked the beginning of the end for that era of the Trail Blazers, as they would struggle to reach similar heights in the years that followed. Number 3, San Antonio Spurs between Miami Heat. Few NBA Finals have been as heartbreaking as the 2013 clash between the San Antonio Spurs and Miami Heat. The Spurs, led by Tim Duncan, missed free throw from the Spurs. Chris Bosh grabbed a crucial offensive rebound. He quickly passed the ball to Ray Allen, who nailed a game-tying three-pointer from the corner, sending the game to overtime. The Spurs, visibly shaken, couldn't recover, and the Heat went on to win Game 6 in OT. In Game 7, Miami carried the momentum and ultimately claimed the championship, leaving the Spurs to rue their missed opportunity. This collapse was especially painful for San Antonio, as they were so close to victory that the Finals MVP trophy had already been brought courtside. The loss left an indelible mark on the Spurs' legacy, a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change, even for the most experienced teams. Number 2, Oklahoma City Thunder between Golden State Warriors. The 2016 Western Conference Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Golden State Warriors was set to be historic, with the Thunder surprisingly taking a 3-1 series lead against the 73-win Warriors. Led by Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, the Thunder were poised to dethrone the Warriors and secure a spot in the NBA Finals. With 2 games left to close out the series, it seemed like a dream scenario for Oklahoma City. But then the collapse began. In Game 5, the Warriors, led by MVP Stephen Curry and sharpshooter Klay Thompson, found their rhythm. Despite a valiant effort by the Thunder, the Warriors won Game 5 in Oakland to stay alive. Game 6, back in Oklahoma City, was even more devastating for Thunder fans, as Klay Thompson exploded for 41 points and set a playoff record with 11 three-pointers, helping the Warriors overcome a late deficit and forcing a Game 7. By the time Game 7 rolled around, the momentum had fully shifted in Golden State's favor. The Warriors took control in the second half and ultimately completed the comeback, winning the series 4-3 and ending the Thunder's championship hopes. This collapse left a lasting impact on the Thunder franchise, as Kevin Durant left for the Warriors that offseason, marking the end of an era and turning this series loss into one of the most painful moments in Oklahoma City's basketball history. Number 1, Golden State Warriors between Cleveland Cavaliers. In what would become one of the most infamous collapses in NBA history, the Golden State Warriors let a 3-1 series lead slip away to the Cleveland Cavaliers during the 2016 NBA Finals. Coming off a record-breaking 73-win season, the Warriors were the favorites to repeat as champions, and after winning 3 of the first 4 games in the finals, they seemed unstoppable. With just one more win needed to clinch the title, the Warriors looked set to cap off their historic season with a championship. But LeBron James and Kyrie Irving had other plans. In Game 5, with Draymond Green suspended, LeBron and Kyrie both scored 41 points to keep the Cavaliers alive. Game 6 saw another dominant performance from LeBron, forcing a decisive Game 7 back in Oakland. The stage was set for an epic showdown, but the Warriors struggled to find their rhythm, while the Cavaliers played with relentless determination. In the final minutes of Game 7, LeBron's iconic chase-down block on Andre Iguodala and Kyrie's clutch three-pointer over Stephen Curry sealed the game and the series for Cleveland, giving the Cavaliers their first NBA championship and completing an unprecedented comeback. The Warriors' collapse remains one of the most shocking in NBA history, turning their record-breaking season into a bitter memory and cementing LeBron's legacy as one of the greatest players of all time.